Howdy. This is what we're doing. We got a LQ4. I think it's about an 01, somewhere in there. Don't hold me to that. And we are going to be putting it in this 07 BMW Z4M because why not? This is going to be the engine build process. We're going to start with bare block and a whole bunch of parts. I want to go over what we got so you guys can get an idea of what we're doing. And then from there, we'll just go step by step and put it all together and see how it goes. Starting off, like I said, 6-liter LQ4. It's bored out 30 over, I want to say. Line board, all that stuff. I had everything on the crank assembly balanced. So crankshaft, clutch, flywheel, all that stuff, everything, all the components that are in the rotating assembly have been balanced because I want this to be as good as I can. We're shooting for 800 horsepower wheel and a very, very large turbocharger in this car because, again, why not? The parts that I got, we have TSP rods. They are forged rods. Not trying to break the bank or anything like that, so I didn't go anything crazy, but should be more than capable of 800 horsepower since people do that on stock rods reliably. We have Wiseco flat top pistons with valve relief cuts. I'm running a BTR Stage 2 V2 turbo cam, and it is a C619 lift. And with that, to make that happy, I have port and polished LS3 heads running dual spring valve springs. I believe, I don't know the pack number, but they're either BTRs or packs, I don't remember, but I can get part numbers for you guys, stuff like that. Port and polished, all that good stuff, because again, the whole goal for this is to be a trackable, streetable, 800 horsepower car. Hopefully it goes together well. If it doesn't, then you're gonna see it here first, because I have never built a gas engine, or a turbo gas engine for that matter. I've only ever built diesel engines, 6 liters Cummins, Duramaxes, stuff like that. So I have experience in this field, but not in the gas field. So we're kind of winging it from all my internet warrior research that I've done. But let's get the rotating assembly slapped in here, and then make sure that that gets all torqued down with all of our ARP studs. And then as long as that's good, we'll assemble pistons and we'll move on from there. So, if my face doesn't look super enthused, here's where we're at. This is what I'm dealing with. I don't know if you can see. There you go. See those dents in that bearing? That's a problem. This is a main bearing. Thrust bearing goes in the middle of the block, keeps the crank from walking. Here's the thing. This is a new one. And yeah, that's what I want this to look like. But these are the bearings, or this is the bearing that was at my machine shop when I had them do the line boring and all the stuff. So, pretty sure I can't just throw this bearing in it. I think that that's a problem. I think they're gonna not be happy with that. I'm not happy with this. Awesome machine shop. I've used these guys for years. They always do great, awesome work. Whatever. I'm not mad about this. I'm just worried about this. So I'm gonna call them tomorrow. Unfortunately, I didn't get any of this done, so we'll have to push this off for another day. It's Friday. They close early on Fridays. They're also an hour and a half away from me, so hopefully we can figure something out. If they're cool with me just slapping new bearings, and I have a whole nother set of these King SI bearings, and then they look much prettier, but I know that they had a bunch of numbers and markings on these because they always try and find the perfect number and whatever. I'm not a machinist. They do all the things to make sure that everything is perfect, to make sure that your crank is perfectly centered and there's no offsets going through the journals. So anyways, that's where I'm at, unfortunately, but tomorrow I'll at least slap these pistons together, get the rods and everything assembled, and then we will go hopefully have better news. We are back. So I ended up having to bring this back to them today. Today is Monday. I believe we left off on Friday. So I sent them a picture of that bearing that I showed you guys, and they were like, absolutely not, don't run that in this engine. And I was like, cool, I agree, let's not do that. So they had a set of the King HP, like the high performance bearings or whatever, race applications. It'll work for me. So brought the engine up there, they checked everything, made sure everything was still within the tolerances they were happy with, and then sent me back. So here we are. Quick turnaround. Ready to put this thing back together. I already started assembling pistons, so I'm going to continue with that. Once the pistons are done, we'll jump back to this, and we'll get the crank in, get it torqued down, start slapping pistons in. So, all right. So I changed my mind. The plan here is I want to get the crank in here so I can use it for demonstrational purposes and show direction of rods and things like that. So I'm going to drop that in there. I'm probably not going to torque anything down just yet. But... Alright, let's get these mains out. Come on. So, this is the rear one. You can see 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All these face this way. This one faces that way. So, again, I know this is on the LQ4. I don't know what other LS this applies to. I would have guessed most iron blocks, but again, don't hold me to that. Why do they make these things so damn heavy? Very gentle. That's the other thing I want to point out. So, on the LQ4, they have a 24 tooth, I believe. I upgraded it, or not upgraded, I don't know. Well, it is an upgrade, but I changed it to the 58 tooth, 58X reluctor wheel because I want to run, the LS3 computer and stuff out of a Camaro, and I had to change that on the LQ4 crank to 58, and then I have to run the 4x pickup on the cam. So just 5. I don't know what these bearings are made out of, the HP series from King. And I'm sure people are going to tell me why they don't like the HP series or vice versa. You know? I don't know. But, they look real pretty. So, I also learned that if you don't tell your machine shop that you're going to put studs in your mains, then they have to redo a lot of their processes, because when you torque the mains with studs versus bolts, it deflects the block differently because of more clamping pressure. Luckily, they did for me, because I didn't tell them. I just sent them studs in the box whenever I had them build the engine. And I knew that there was a factor to it. I didn't really know why, but now you do. Deflection of the block. Sorry for blocking you. How rude of me. Go to your home, ball. Gen 3, small block. And it gives you all the bangs. Long ones in the middle, short ones on the outside. Let's see there. Remember, if you all the way to the bottom, you want to back them off. Like that. Don't do that. Don't do exactly what I just did. Anyways, yeah, the idea is that they are hand tight. So if you're going to use an electric ratchet or impact, just make sure you back them off so that they don't crack your block. Alright. We're just going to go back and make sure all these are hand tight. I could do a singing channel where I work on cars and then serenade you guys with awesome vocals. So I have specific instructions from my machine shop. Other engine builders might say this is right or wrong, but who knows? This is what they told me to do. This is what they do for a living, not me. So They said to tighten and torque these down, leave the center loose because it's your thrust and there's a little bit of play in it, and to push the take the crank once these are tight with a screwdriver or pry bar, push it back, and then that way it makes sure your bearings are set in the center on the thrust, and then same spot, push it forwards and then torque these down, and then check your thrust. And we'll check our thrust because they said they want like 6 to 7 thousandths on our thrust. So, does anybody else hate this stuff? It just gets everywhere. It's like anti-seize. And if you use gray anti-seize, however you want to say it, I can't be your friend. Sorry. I like to make sure that everything is thoroughly coated. So I put just a little splooge in the in the nut, and then I will go back and then smear it onto the stud, and then we'll wipe off the excess when we're done, because I don't want this stuff just floating around in my engine. I know it's proven and tested by ARP to dissolve in the oil and yada 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 yada. I have a feeling this nasty shit blocks up all sorts of filters and stuff, or could. Don't hold me to that, I have no idea, but it's one of those overthinking things. Back to the engine, baby. Promises! Oh, that was bad. Boom! Now let's get way too large of an impact and run those in with no regard for torque spec. And before you guys yell at me, I like chrome sockets. Especially on impacts. Especially when they have the high quality Duralast brand. I'm going to torque these with my super old worn out torque wrench, and I'm going to bring my snap-on torque wrench from the war tomorrow. And we'll actually check these, because I'm sure my whatever the hell this is from 10 years ago is not accurate anymore. In case you lose your paperwork, we are going to the alrighty, so we're going to follow these instructions of the inner studs. Oh, I'm pointing too low. Inner studs, 60 foot-pounds, outer studs, 50 foot-pounds. M8 side bolts are going to be 20 foot-pounds, and we're going to use RTV under the head of the bolt so that it doesn't leak oil. So basically you're just going to take it and you're going to do a little boop. I use Ultra Black on just about everything that requires RTV, by the way. It's arguably the best. Get the light in there. Focus camera. Anyways, you get the idea. It's going to focus on my crusty ass fingers and not on what I want it to. Come on. Okay, there we go. I am surprised I did not explode in my face, by the way. All the inner studs are 60, so we're going to go ahead and torque those. Alright, and then the outers, I believe, are 50. Alright. Boom. Alright, so we are back. Next day. The mains are all torqued, everything's where it should be. Now we're gonna check our thrust. For the life of me, I can't get this camera to focus on the gauge. So, anyways, right where the needle's at right now, that's 0. Up here at the blurry number that you can't really see, that's 45, so that'd be 5 thousandths. We're looking for 2 past that, which would put us at 6 to 7, or 1 to 2 past that, which would be 6 to 7. We are not there. If you watch and I pull the, oh, that's the wrong way. If I pull the engine this way, we're at 2.5, which you can't see because it's blurry for some reason, but you get the idea. So the next step is the thrust is in here. we're going to pull this back apart. We're going to get our thrust bearing out, and then we are going to take 1200 grit sandpaper on a sanding block, and we're going to remove a little bit of the thrust surface to try and get it out. Put it back in and hope that we're closer, and hopefully we don't have to do that 4 or 5 times. So. All right, after a dinner break and a little bit of bearing sanding, again, it's not gonna get, I can't focus that, but either way, you're gonna be able to see it. So we're shooting for 6 to 7 thousandths. Right there, we're just past the 0 mark on the far side. And then when we push our crankshaft back, hold up, we go just past the 45, which means we're probably perfectly at 6. And I'm gonna call that good. So we're gonna go ahead and start assembling pistons, and we'll be ready to rock and roll, slap the scene together.